Well, humor is disarming. If I were to get on stage and just have this cold open of me saying my mental health story, I think that that could be triggering for people. And I think that people would have that same icky sense that a lot of people do get talking about mental health, which is this is too vulnerable to talk about in front of the workplace. And I have just chosen to be transparent with my mental health journey. A lot of comedians are just, we go through something, we learn it, and the next day we're on stage oversharing. So I have just chosen to be authentic in who I am. I don't feel ashamed at all of having been through depression. I don't feel ashamed of the anxiety that I cope with. It's just part of me and part of my life. Getting on stage and being authentic and using humor is just the bridge that I use to have the audience and I join up on the subject of mental health. So I start with some jokes. I may or may not do a couple of impressions, and I get the audience laughing along. And then I share that, hey, I seem like a fun person, right? I seem like a kind of a normal, fun person you'd bring to a party, but I am someone who has struggled with depression. And I still take care of myself every day because I am susceptible to depression. And I want to normalize that for people so that they see, whoa, she deals with depression and she's up on stage still living her dream. And that's the message I want to give to people, is that you can be someone who has struggled with mental health. And if you're able to get the support that you need, and if you're able to have the time and resources to invest in your self-care, eventually you can be someone who thrives, even while coping with mental health issues. You can be someone who thrives. And that's the kind of hope that I want to give an audience. And so I have to be authentic when I'm up there. And I'm just an authentically silly and open person. And so what you see is what you get. I like being completely myself on stage. I like feeling that connection with an audience. But I also think when you're talking about something like mental health, I'm not just there to list off everything you need to know about mental health. I'm there to create a connection with people so that they are less afraid of the mental health conversation, so they feel more hopeful about their own mental health journey, and so that they have more empathy for anyone else who is going through it. And for me, in my mental health journey, it hasn't been some giant overhaul that made me healthy. It was small, sustainable changes that I just kept ticking these little boxes that hardly took any time, but just took a little adjustment, being grateful in the morning, grateful before I go to bed, making sure I get in nature every day, seeking support where I can. Those things add up and build a resilience that is harder to knock down. My home is made of brick in terms of, like, metaphorically speaking, of what my mental health is like now, because I do the things and I take care of them. And that's what I want to tell people, is you already have the answers. You have the answers within you. Your workplace needs to create a culture that is supportive for you. And if you keep ticking those boxes, science has shown that you can achieve greater resilience and greater well-being.